Sir. Adam, read page number 87. Adam, read page number 87.
87.
Yes.
About the author.
Yes, started.
Author 1890. He was a Irish poet and one of the most popular playwrights in London. In the early 1890s, he is best remembered for his criticism and clever use of language. British and clever use of language. Oscar Wilde short story of one millionaire tells us about the young man who has the background to discover the beggar and millionaire. Appearances can be deceptive. Stories central player, UVA and skis. Believe the painter model is a beggar and gives him some money. Ironically, the so-called beggar is in fact from Europe's wealthiest socialite who has commissioned the artist to paint his portrait with a millionaire dressed in plans. This type of generosity and the normalization of charity without any expectation of reward. Expectation of reward in return is what makes the giver truly noble. The author's final play on the word model millionaire and millionaire model brings out the power of syntax and emphasizes the sheer goodness of the simple character.
Okay, now underline. Appearances can be deceptive. That is the main theme of the story in the third paragraph, first sentence. Appearances can be deceptive. And then he explains how.
So we can't get the book by its appearance. That's
Correct. So appearances can be deceptive. So just by looking at somebody, we should not make a judgment.
And for example, the president of India is not only Murmu. She's black, but though she is recognized as president of India.
Dark complexion, that's what you're saying.
Yes,
Black means dark complexion. So what?
that means she is dark, so her appearance is dark, but she is the president of India. So we can't judge her that she's an ordinary person.
Okay, but how does it matter dark or fair? Doesn't matter.
And it matters in the universe.
No, it doesn't matter very true. Okay, because Barack Obama was a black president, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter. But so appearance, if I, just by appearance of the person, we cannot judge the character of that person. Okay, so appearances are deceptive. It's the main theme of this story. The story revolves around some misunderstandings on the basis of appearance. Now we have the honesty. Okay, take out, but take your volume from it.
Ma'am, tomorrow we have a test about like email local and grammar.
We have already done email writing in the class.
We had noticed both things like that.
You might notice right there.
Like that.
We are not
Excellent.
No, I was not there for email, notice I was there.
Excellent.
That's right.
tomorrow is, okay, the last time it was very long. Okay, the modern millennial, we are taking a modern millennial.
Now, what is the meaning of syntax?
Which number is
Second sentence. What? No, I was asking like first and do that. Because first and millionaire is not there.
Page number 87, take out. Page number 87. Okay. Syntax means sentence structure. Okay. Now it ends with this sentence that there is a play of words, millionaire model, modern millennial. So there is a beautiful play out with the sentence structure and so beautiful play of words or with the sentence structure, and we will see what does it mean towards the end because the story ends with that. Okay.
Ma'am, same tradition followed the both.
Now the author's final play of words. Okay. Now let us start that reading. Unless one is good.
Ma'am, is signature. Sign for that.
It's okay. We'll come back. In the break time, you provide sign. Date.
Unless one is wealthy, there is no use in being a charming friend. Romance is the privilege of the rich, not the profession of the unemployed. The poor should be practical and prosaic.
Okay, underline the word prosaic. What is the meaning of the word prosaic? Unromantic.
He always serious.
Yes. So only the rich people can afford to dream and they can dream of a magic thing or
Unless one is really
you have to
Like having freedoms. Freedom to expression.
yes, but a poor person should only be practical and serious because he does not have that much time to waste for unromantic and impractical things. If he is impractical, then he will not be able to run his family or himself. So in order to sustain himself, he has to be very, very practical. So whatever he earns, he needs to be very specific that only that much he has to spend along with savings to be made for the future, right? So the poor people, they need to be very, very practical. They cannot get carried away by dreams or any fantasies or any romantic ideas, right? Okay, this line is clear. So what does the author say here? Unless one is wealthy, there is no use of being a charming. So even if you are good looking, if even if you are presentable, even if you are charming, but if you do not have wealth and money, it's of no use. Nobody is going to like you for only your looks. Correct? Okay?
man, but as if you go, you can go and put film in industry or something.
That is all, not that, it's just like good looks, you can't be innocent with that. It's not that easy. So romance is the privilege of the rich. That means, it is something which the rich people can afford and not for the profession, not the profession of the unemployed. So it is not something which the unemployed people can afford. So the poor should be practical and prosaic. So if this question comes, what should be the qualities of the poor? He would say poor should be
Practical and
prosaic.
serious.
Prosaic. So use the word as it is used in the text, right?
And
Now,
here it is said that the poor should be practical and prosaic. So
yeah, that's what people should be, huh?
now if they are telling that romance is the privilege of rich and not of the profession of the unemployed, so it directly tells that it should not be done by the poor people. So here it's written that poor should be practical and prosaic, but here they are telling that it should not be practiced by the
What should not be practiced by?
Romance.
It is romance, yes.
So here why
Prosaic means unromantic.
the poor should be practical and unromantic.
Yes, they should be practical. They should not. What is the meaning of romantic? You get straight away in the world of imagination into an ideal world, ideal situation, not practical. Okay, so that is the meaning of being unromantic. Yeah, romanticism means
Here practically
huh?
practical.
You have to be very practical in the way of handling money, in the way of dealing with the situations. You see rich people, if they want something, suppose I got the dress, I have the money, I can buy it. But if I am poor, I need to be practical that I don't have enough money to buy it. I should not waste my money. So you need to choose your decisions wisely according to the practicality of your situation, right? So the poor people should be more practical in order to sustain themselves in this on this earth, right? Prosaic. What is the opposite of prosaic? Poetic. Okay, so the rich people can afford to be poetic because they have money. They can have a romantic life, they can have a poetic life. But the poor people should have a prosaic and practical life. Yeah, this much. Okay, now we will meet.
It is better to have a permanent income than to be fascinating. These are the great truths of modern life which we escape never realized. Poor you.
Okay, now there are great truths. Sorry, these are the great truths of modern life. Now, underline what are the great truths of modern life. So you should have a permanent income than just looking good.
What are the great truths of
What are the great truths of modern life? You need to write out both the points. Adam? Nothing.
There is no need for there. Unless one is
So
very.
number one is,
Unless one is wealthy and
there is
they
no
are-
point in having good looks or being romantic, or it is no point in being fascinating.
and romance will be afforded by rich, not by the poor people.
Poor people
Who
are
are
unemployed. Yes, who are unemployed. Unemployed means poor people. So, and poor people must be practical and responsible. Okay? Okay? Right, continue.
He never said a brilliant or even an ill-natured plagiarist.
more intelligent.
Intellectually, we must admit he was not of much importance. He never said a brilliant or even an ill-natured thing in his life. But then he was wonderfully good looking, with his crisp brown hair, his clear-cut profile, and his grey eyes.
Okay, now, bracket the description of, Yugi, what is the surname or its surname?
Steve.
Or sleep. So, bracket the description, the physical description of the person.
He was wonderfully good looking.
He was extremely rounded, yeah. Yes. He
Yes.
was very, very clear cut profile, and he was quite honest. Okay, he had a very clear profile. Now, he was very fascinating, very good looking, but he was unemployed, he did nothing. So do you think the girls will find him attractive? No.
Unless, the first thing is that unless one is just says no use of good.
There is no use of good look without money. If you don't have money, girls will also not be attracted.
If you're not good looking, you have money, people will like. If you're not good looking, you have money, people will still like you. That's the power of money.
You have seen money, the fat one,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know money is.
What is his name? What's his name?
Anandaman.
And
He is so fat, but still he has more money, so he got a wedding with a
Yeah, it was a really query one. Okay. Continue.
fascinating wedding.
Okay, continue.
He was as popular with men as he was with women.
Whether he was popular with women. He was as popular with men as he was popular with
Equally
women.
popular with men.
He was equally popular with both, but somehow nobody wanted to marry him because he did not have wealth, right? He did not have money. Okay, continue.
And he had every accomplishment except that of making money. His father had bequeathed him his cavalry sword and a history of the Peninsular War in 15 volumes.
And repeated means,
And then-
homecoming also this word has been repeated. The signing of his property. to
Yes. So bequeath, underline the word bequeath, to arrange for something to be given to somebody. To arrange for something to be given to somebody.
they passing out. Look,
Yeah,
I don't give passing out, like someone give me this and this.
so to arrange for something to be given to somebody. After his death. Then after his death. Underline the two things that his father had bequeathed for him.
A cavalry swords and then
Cavalry sword means the sword that you use for fighting. Okay?
and cavalry sword of Peninsular War.
And the big book with 15 volumes, only that he left for him, no money, he did not take any money for him. Right? So what would he do with these two? Okay. Okay, understood that these are the two things that were bequeathed by his father.
We could sell these things and have some.
Chalo, who will take the second hand? Okay.
Yugi hung the first over his looking glass, put the second on a shelf between Ruff's Guide and Bailey's magazine, and lived on 200 a year that an old aunt allowed him.
Okay, now, so what did he do with the sword? Okay. What did he do with the cavalry sword?
He hung the first on his good looking glass and he put the second on the shelf between Ruff's Guide and Bailey's magazine.
Okay, so, yes, so he kept it with the magazine, he kept the books along with the magazines, and he hung his sword along with his I think specs, right? Along with his looking glass, sorry, looking glasses. Looking glass. Then
And the glass are detecting good.
no, mirrors. Looking glass is mirror. So, so he hung it near the mirror and looking glass, and the books he kept it along with the magazine. He had no use of that, right? Okay.
Mama.
And what was his income? What was his source of income? His source of income was his aunt used to give him an allowance. Okay, so that allowance and allowance,
Of 200 rupees.
yes, 100 rupees. Now, he may have some arrangement made during that time before the father died that the aunt will pay him some money. So,
It is said here 200.
okay, 200, 200 a year. Okay, you have to give it to 200 from his aunt. Yes, then.
Ma'am, in the opening chapter, when I was reading my found one word, but I could, of which I couldn't understand the meaning.
Okay, no problem. The next class we will get. Okay, let us continue with this. Let us continue with this first.
He had gone on the stock exchange for 6 months.
But
But what
can you explain this time again?
Which one I
Just last two.
last line?
He got the first over his looking glass. Now, what is first and second here?
First is the cavalry sword. So he kept the first, that is cavalry sword. Where did he keep the first? He kept it over the mirror. And then the second one, that is the volumes, the books. He kept it, he left it on the shelf between guides and Bailey's magazine. So he had some guidebook in Bailey's magazine, so within that he kept the books.
he had gone to the stock exchange for 6 months. But what was a butterfly to do among bulls and bears? He had
Underline this. Do you know what are bulls and bears? Azam,
Yes.
straight. You know what are bulls and bears?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
Ma'am,
Huh?
With the experienced people.
Bulls and people for what?
In the stock exchange,
You're
there
right. You're right. They are experienced.
are many years experience in stock exchange and he was new, that is why.
Tell me.
ma'am, bulls are like, bulls are like profit and bears are
Yeah,
like
that's loss. Right, very good. So bulls are those who predict the market price will rise, and the bears are those who predict that the market price will go down. So optimistic and pessimistic, whatever it is, the fact is the bulls and the bears are those experienced people in the share market. Okay, they are extremely experienced in the share market.
Actually, they control the share.
They control the share market, correct? Okay, they are known as the bulls and the bears.
And who predicts the rising?
The bulls and the bears.
That is the
It's not a yes.
because they sell all the share and the tickets.
So together, bulls and bears constitute the share market. So both are extremely experienced. Fine. Who is a butterfly here? Butterfly is a newcomer. Newcomer. He doesn't.
QB or C.
Yes, so he doesn't have any experience. So what will the butterfly do in the world of bulls and bears? So how can an
But there is no role of a butterfly in a share market.
exactly there is no role of butterfly in share market. Actually, butterfly refers to not share market. They we make some safe investments. So those are known as butterflies actually in the term in the no, in that term. So butterflies are basically not taking any risk, safe investment. So that is sometimes referred to as butterfly. It is talking about, it's referring to the experience of the man, of the character, the main character. Beauty.
then he had tried selling some. He had been a tea merchant for a little longer, but had soon tired of people and future. Then he had tried selling dry sherry. That did not answer. The sherry was a little too dry.
Now, what is a sherry? What is a sherry?
It's a powder.
Ultimately, he became nothing, a delightful, ineffectual young man with a perfect profile and no profession.
Okay, so you got it. You already tried hands with so many professions, but finally he could not succeed anything. But
He remained jobless.
he remained jobless, handsome man, but jobless. Right? Okay, continue.
User of talent, waste of talent.
Waste of talent. Continue.
To make matters worse, he was in love. The girl he loved was Laura Meredith, the daughter of a retired colonel who had lost his temper, and his tradition in India, and had never found either of them again. Laura adored him, and he was
What is digestion?
That is spicy food. India is known for its spices. So maybe she lost her digestion in
Not he, his father,
his father.
her father.
His digestion in India.
Not in temp, he lost both of them in India and he could not regain it.
Yes.
He was lost in India.
What is the meaning of Adore?
There is a road. Laura, I don't really love him.
Okay.
Continue.
Um,
I'm like that for a long time.
That's it. Laura adored him, and he was ready to kiss her shoestrings. They were the handsomest couple in London and had not a penny piece between them. The
Okay,
girl
now what is the meaning of even he was ready to kiss her shoestrings?
means he loved him so much that
Loved her so much
He
that she
loved her.
was ready to do anything for her. He was ready even to kiss her
Two.
shoestrings.
Yes.
It is an example of hyperbole. Please underline and write down example of hyperbole. What is hyperbole?
Exaggeration of
Exaggeration. Okay, so it is an example of hyperbole.
the call was
they
very
were sentenced.
The colonel was very fond of beauty, but would not hear of any engagement.
Because he had no profession.
Come to me, my boy. When you have got 10,000 pounds of your own, and we will see about it, he used to say. And you look very plump on those days.
Slum, sad.
Yeah, plum means gloomy, sad, mild.
On those days, and had to go to Laura for consolation. One morning, as
Consolation.
Consolation means since he was sad,
To
therefore
get back in his
to recover, he used to go to Laura, who would pacify him, calm him down, console him. Okay, not to so that he doesn't feel sad anymore.
one morning, as he was on his way to Holland Park,
You sit with Azam. Azam shared with him.
one morning, as he was on his way to Holland Park, where the Mertons lived, he dropped in to see a great friend of his, Alan Trevor. Trevor was a painter, but he was also an artist, and artists are rather rare. Personally, he was a strange, rough fellow with a freckled face and a red ragged beard. However,
Very red bracket beard, very dirty and untidy actually. And freckled face means
wrinkled.
huh, not exactly wrinkled, but some brown patches.
Yes.
Okay, so
But those are due to wrinkles only.
However, when he took up the brush, he was a real master, and his pictures were eagerly sought after. He had been very much attracted by beauty at first. It must be acknowledged entirely on account of his personal charm. The only people a painter should know, he used to say, are people who are beautiful, people who are an artistic pleasure to look at and an intellectual repose to talk to. Men who are dandies and women who are darling rule the world. At least they should do so. However, after he got to know Vivi better, he liked him quite as much for his bright boy spirits and his generous, reckless nature, and had given him the permanent entry to the studio.
okay.
A mere simile is used to compare.
So I repeat it once again. So personally, he was a strange, rough fellow. Who was a strange, rough fellow?
Alan Trevor.
Yes, Trevor, who was his friend, right? So he had gone to meet his friend on the way. Now, so he was a strange fellow. Underline the description of the strange of Trevor. Asan, will you tell me the answer?
He was a rough fellow with a freckled face and a red ragged beard.
Okay, then
Then he was artistic. He was a real master.
He professed a profession of painter.
yes, and he was a professional painter.
He was a very rare artist.
He was an artist, he was a rare artist, very good artist.
And and when he took up the brush, he was a real master.
However, after he got to know Yogi better, he liked him quite as much for his bright, buoyant spirit and his generous, reckless nature. So underline these two.
What did he like him in Yugi?
Yes, what did he like to write on the question? What did yeah, what did what is the name of his friend first?
Alan Trevor.
Trevor. What did Trevor like in Yogi? Written.
And
Written.
what is buoyant?
Buoyant means very lively spirited. Buoyant means lively spirited. Please write down the Vidyadhan. Why are you not writing? I know it is not your book.
Buoyant means living.
Yeah, living
Cheerful.
cheerful. Yes, you can write high spirited.
And reckless. Being reckless.
No,
Get this?
Huh?
Get this?
Reckless means someone who does
He
not
was a reckless driver.
reckless driver. I mean, they're not following the rules. Okay, someone who doesn't follow the rules. Continue.
When Yugi came in, he found Trevor putting the finishing touches to a wonderful life.
Pen of entries from
Then,
permanent entry to the studio. Double E is written. It will bless me a wife.
Old edition, like,
no. This entry is right to enter. This is correct. ENTRW. This entry means right to enter.
when you leave Trevor putting the finishing touches to a wonderful life-size picture of a beggar man. The beggar himself was standing on a raised platform in a corner of the studio. He was a wizened old man with a face like premium parchment and a most piteous expression. Over his shoulders was flung a coarse brown cloak, all tears and daggers. His thick boots were patched and cobbled, and with one hand he leaned on a rough stick, while the other he held out his battered hand for arms. What an amazing model, whispered Louis as he shook hands with his friend. An amazing
Friend means Alan Trevor.
Yeah. So you see, what an amazing model this by Curie. So, who will describe the beggar who was sitting as a model?
First,
Yeah.
he was a wonderful life-size picture of a beggar man. Then he was a wizened old man with a face like wrinkled parchment, most piteous with a most piteous expression. His shoulders were flung with a coarse brown cloak, all tears and tatters, which was shabby. His thick boots were patched and cobbled. His one hand leant on a rough stick, while with the other he held out his battered head for arms and was painting with it.
So, we get it. Okay. Over his shoulder was flung a coarse brown cloak, all tails and tatters. So underline all these description.
Means, ma'am, here this old man is his old man is in the studio or outside the studio?
Inside the studio.
So he is sitting and Alan Trevor is making a sketch or a painting of him.
Yes.
So he does not know that he is being idolized as a painting.
No, he is not sitting for the painting. Someone else was there.
But he was making the old man. युगी बरोबर से रखे थे उसको युगी को बाहर एक आदमी था जो कि ऐसे पोजीशन में था तो उसने एरन को बोला कि कितना अच्छा एक मॉडल जैसा खड़ा है वो तुम्हारा है तो एरन बनाया he was outside the studio
Inside.
inside
Yeah. He was drawing a painting portrait of him.
कौन बना
And
Alan का अच्छा beggar तो बाहर था ना
The beggar was inside.
beggar के सामने रेस पोडियम पे खड़ा था.
He was there inside, he was standing, he was.
and the models also the model who was in front of carriage driver was not made by him but instead was made of the old man.
अरे वही ओल्ड मैन खड़ा था उधर एक.
Okay, now listen carefully. There is UV came in, he found his friend to be a painter, his friend is a painter. Who's a friend painter? So he was doing a sketch. Now, when you do a sketch, you have, you have models sitting in front of you. So you look at it exactly the way they are sitting, you have to draw a sketch of that. Okay? And you cannot, the model, they are called as model, they cannot move here and there. They have to stand still or sit still, as in the picture. As the artist wants. Okay? So here when he enters the shop, he finds that his friend, he found that, yeah, when he entered the shop, he found that he was sitting and
This old man was sitting
the old man was sitting
and
and
I
was
was painting.
doing the painting of the old man. Clear? Okay,
Beggar क्यों बोला?
I will see that. Beggar because he is sitting with the ragged clothes.
Yes, the shoe is also covered with shoes and he does not have much money to buy a new one.
Yes. Okay, continue. Continue.
What an amazing model, whispered Yuri as he shook hands with his friend. An amazing model, shouted Trevor at the top of his voice. I should think so. Such beggars as we are not to be met with every day. A living blasphemous. My stars, what an epic Rembrandt would have made of.
What is this? Balance with
So, yeah, Barry Squares is a Spanish painter. Underline and write down. Barry Squares is a Spanish painter.
I want to name of Rembrandt.
He's a Rembrandt is a Dutch painter.
my star. What does it mean by my shoe?
Yeah. Now he swears by their names actually. An amazing model, shouted Trevor at the top of his voice. I should think so. Such beggars as he are not to be met with every day. A living painter, okay, and etching another painter would have made of him. That is, he's saying that only they can make, so good realistic pictures.
Poor old chap, said Yuri. How miserable he looks. But I suppose to you painters, his face is his fortune. Certainly, replied Trevor. You don't want a beggar to look happy, do you? How much does a model get for sitting? Asked Ruby, as he found himself a comfortable seat on divan.
No, what is it?
Huh?
Divan. A seat or a place.
Which one?
Divan.
Divan is the seat, sofa kind of.
A shilling and a half. And how much do you get for a picture, Alan? Oh, for this I get £2,000. Cuties, painters, poets, and physicians always get cuties.
Okay, now see, guineas, underline guineas, and write down £1 plus 1 shilling is equal to guinea. 1 guinea.
£1 plus 1 shilling.
Yes. Shilling are the coins. Okay. So these are the currencies of England during those times.
Well, I think the model.
Wait.
Well, I think the model should have a percentage, cried Ruby, laughing. They work quite as hard as you do. Nonsense, nonsense. Why you take the trouble of playing on the paint alone and standing all day long at once easy? It's all very well, Yuki, for you to talk, but I assure you that there are moments when art almost attains to the dignity of manliness. But I think, but you must.
Huh?
Can you explain much?
I'll explain. Let him begin.
But you mustn't chatter. I'm very busy. Smoke a cigarette and keep quiet. After some time, the servant came in and told Trevor that the frame maker wanted to speak to him. Don't run away, Boogie, he said as he went out. I will be back in a minute. The old beggar man took advantage of Trevor's absence to rest for a moment on a wooden bench that was behind him. He looked so cornered and wretched that Boogie could not help pitying and felt in his pockets to see what money he had. All he could find was sovereign and some coppers. Poor old fellow, he thought to himself. He wanted more than I do. He, but it means no hansoms for a fortnight. And he walked across the studio and slipped the sovereign into the burger's hand.
Break time. Break. It's already? Yes. But the bell did not break.
I'm thinking after 1 minute, man, 16 minutes.
Okay, after the break, you will read and we'll first explain it and then we'll read.
Sir नहीं what sir नहीं सुशील सर नहीं क्यों थे 93%. हाँ उसको बोलूं क्या बोलना है अरे वो साइन करना है ना
Now, what is the meaning of easel? Easel. Nonsense paragraphs.
Why look trouble? Look at the trouble of laying on the paint alone and standing all day long at one's easel.
At one's easel with at one's discretion. At one's wish.
अपडेट कर दिया था फिर वापस अपडेट कर I'm the last 5-10 minutes and if you keep like email notice is easy and email secure also easy because it's NCQ but notice is email is bad
Like an 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 11, 16, 20, 26, 27.
or batting many letters
2, 4, 9. Look, 9, 15, 21, 22, 5, 9, 12, 13, 18, or 7, 13, 19, 21, 26, 20, 2,
और मैं ऐसे लगा था चिड़िया
batting, 3, out, 4,
चार्ज इधर लगी है और बैटिंग
12, 18, 20, 27, 31, 34, 26, 27.
और
Bad. On the rest to ground. 11, 12, 13, 14, 23, 24, 4,
More than to the yeah.
or
2 5 2 or batting
5.
चलो start
Continue.
Yes.
Chalo, start. The break is over. Okay. Let us read from there. So how much do the artists, the models earn with to pose for the photo?
One journeys.
Monthly.
Can you more private and please no. Please, please, please.
But why?
And like,
Please.
you understand that please.
What about you?
I'm going to watch my kids.
No, child, I 60.
I'm going to watch
Or 60, like you. Back then, the first is.
I will understand, but see the only good Ma'am, we have Bollywood face test.
Yeah.
Oh no, ma'am, she'll take right now. Cool. Bollywood is test.
Chalo, sit down. Yeah.
It is not school. Ma'am, one thing is left.
Confident is down. What's the time now? The bed already down.
Ma'am, 5:18.
Sit down.
Ma'am, for 2 minutes.
He has to sit down to start. He's not by 90. I will repeat. Okay. So, so how much are they getting in order to pose to be the model?
Can I go and do hotel?
Give
For second, sir.
Nobody. Go, we have to finish this and then we will start the email writing. Fast. No, we have finished already, then because he has the exam, so we will put down with the revision. And if it's fine, they write, with one action. With the volume. Yeah. And then listen, four of you, Ayush is absent today. On 24th, we have a PTM, right? I will go by 4:30 because I have a program to attend, but the meeting will start at 2 o'clock. It will be very nice if the ICSE back has by.
Mine is from 4:15 to 4:30.
Okay, so the slots are given to everybody.
Yes, but we can choose our own slots.
So you can choose your own slots.
And what about the other Chinese can be in the same slot?
4 to 4:15, huh?
No, 4:15 to 4:30.
4:15 to 4:30, ठीक है, so both of you are having that slot.
3 or 4 times considered.
Okay, ठीक है, so you select your slot before 4:30. Select any slot before 4:30.
I'm not a test doing it, Sunday.
So the Sunday you have, next Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you select the slots? Are you also coming to the PTM?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then select.
Already decided, so I need to share. I'll share after the first. Will be the PTM now.
Whatever it is, but you have time in secret.
We got it.
I can talk it very well.